Do you think about your own story as a bit of a redemption story? You got one?
Okay, you hit me with a hard one first up.
A
You've opened up,
philosophical one.
opened up all the hard,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, there is a part of redemption. I think when you found me, I was at my lowest point, and that was, run out of the police force, charged and convicted of a crime that, to this day, I'm still not ashamed of, recording the conversation. But a lot's been played out in the media, and I accept that. I had a high profile career in the police, so you can't say I only report the good stuff, report the bad stuff. But walking into court as an accused, then walking out as a convicted criminal, it was a low point, and I wondered whether everything that I'd done in my 34 years in the police would just be washed away, because you could get put in the bracket of he's just a corrupt cop, which is a terrible thing to be, because that's something I worked against my whole career to not be. So there was a point in time where life could have gone anywhere, I should say. But I'm happy with the way it's turned out, and I feel proud of what I'm doing. And I didn't know if I could find the passion that I had in homicide to do what I was doing there. But I'm enjoying what I'm doing now, and I still think I'm doing some good work. We're bringing the attention to people about certain issues, and it's been an experience. So I'd like to think I've turned it round, but yes, I'm still a convicted criminal.
I don't think you needed to be redeemed. I do remember approaching you across the room at a crowded party to ask if you wanted to come and be a journalist, and you were very isolated.
Yeah.
You were standing by yourself, and you gave me the best Gary Jubelin death stare when I started chatting to you. But I knew that most Australians did not care about the alleged crime you'd committed, which of course was a local court matter.
Yes.
It was kind of about paperwork.
It seemed like the trial of the century, didn't it?
From when you're in it, absolutely. But the perspective that I think everyone else had, it sort of forced you out of one career and into another, really. But you probably would have retired not too long after that anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because I'm a little bit tenacious to my own detriment, that if I had cases I was still working on, it would have been hard for me to put up my hand and say I'm walking away. It's quite, and I don't like saying this, because I don't want to give anyone that the people that were responsible for what happened to me any credit, but it's probably the best thing that happened to me. Of course, you've got the cases that I didn't get to finish, in particular the William Tyrrell one, and that carries heavily a burden on me. But my life is good. I didn't think I would be able to start a second career, and now into the fourth year of working in the media and making a living from it and doing what I enjoy, and I'm having a great time. But I think as cops, we put ourselves, or we're put on a higher level that you're either a clean cop or you're a corrupt cop, and it's hard to be the in-between. So if people, looked at me, this is a cop that got charged, you don't even have to look at the depth of what it was about. You just think, okay, well, there's another one that's gone bad, because unfortunately there has been some corrupt cops in the past. But no, it's been a journey, and I walk with my head held high, and I think that's probably I've had a lot of support from people close to me, and people like yourself and Mick Carroll and those that put the trust in me to sign me up. Like, who's going to sign a disgraced cop? It would have been a hard sell to the bean counters. Oh, look, we've got this cop, and he's been charged, and he's been convicted, and we want to sign him. So, thanks for taking the risk with me.
Oh, well, one of the things about journalism, I think, and I really like this, is that you can't really get too much of an inflated sense of your own importance, because at any moment you're going to be humiliated. Yes. I remember during your trial, I was sitting there watching as your boss, but also as your friend, and I at one point the New South Wales Police tried to get the whole matter suppressed.
Yeah.
And so I rushed out to call a lawyer to come in to represent us, to argue that it needed to be heard in open court. And while I was out, a lady came and sat in my chair in this absolutely packed courtroom. And when I came back in, I whispered to her, I was sitting there.
Yeah.
And she said, I am a former judge and a QC. And I said, well, congratulations, but this is my
I'm
chair,
proud of you.
I need to sit down. And she would not budge.
Yeah.
And so I just had to sit on the floor.
Yeah.
And so I sat cross-legged on the floor for the rest of the day. And I really like the fact that I'm 46.
Yeah.
I can still sit on the floor.
Yes.
You know, I'm not too good for that. I was really annoyed at this woman. I would have
Yeah.
liked to tip the chair over. But anyway. But you had a humiliating experience of your own not long ago. You also probably terrifying. You were up in a plane with a French spy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, had to bring that up. It's still clear in my head. It wasn't embarrassing. It was like Goose, Maverick and Goose.
Oh, so you were completely stoic?
Oh, yeah, unbelievable.
Is there footage?
We have got footage, but
Can't
I'm going
wait
to
to
edit
see.
the footage before it comes out. That was, and yeah, this is the fun of podcasting. And so the French spy, Jack Beaumont, the author of The Frenchman, and he was a French spy. The book is a fictional account, but based on stories that he knew. I had him on the podcast, and he's everything a French spy should be, and he's like James Bond. He's a cool dude. He also happened to be a fighter pilot, and of course, like if you're going to be a James Bond character, you've got to be able to fly a jet. So we were out having a drink a couple of weeks ago. We've stayed in touch since he came on the podcast. And after 2 beers, he said, look, because I'm getting him back on the podcast, and after 2 beers, he's gone, well, I'll come back on the podcast, but you've got to do something for me. I said, yeah, well, what is it, Jack? What do you want? How about we go stunt flying? Why are you laughing? I'm a tough guy after 2 beers. I go, yeah, sure. No problems whatsoever. Let's lock the date in. And so the date came, and I wasn't nervous because I figure if you're going to die on that, it's going to be so quick. You're not going to know what's happened. But we go out to Camden Airport, and the planes hired and are ready for us, and we get in, and I'm in the back seat, and I'm thinking,
what sort of plane was it?
oh, I don't. Well, I should. As a pilot that I am now, I think I'm qualified. It was a small one, and there's 2 people sit in it, one in front of the other,
Right.
and. He's doing his checks, and as he's doing his checks, he's asking someone, what's this button for, and what's that for? And I'm thinking, Jesus, I thought you might have. So I walk around and kick the tyres, as you do.
Good.
Look like
great.
I knew what I was doing. Anyway, we get in the plane, and that's right. And I'm thinking, French spy, they would be very good at manipulating or lying, and I never really checked out whether he was a fighter pilot in the French Air Force.
Yeah, or a French spy. We don't have any independent proof of
or a
this.
French spy. But he seemed to know what he was doing, and we took off, and it was an experience. And it was quite funny because he warned me about, you might be throw up and that, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to throw up, nothing. I'm a tough guy. I'll handle this. And we start off, we do the loop. Mm-hmm. So upside down. He gave me some very good advice where to look, and look in the direction you're going. Just don't stare, up in the air and that. And it was sort of, and he was taking me further and further, going, you're feeling fine with that? And I'm, of course, in the back going, yeah, no worries. Copy that, 10-4 or whatever you say. Whatever you say. Roger. Over. Copy. And then we started doing all sorts of stuff upside down, and there was what do you call it? Where the plane goes up in the air, and basically stalls, and then starts dropping.
Dead roll? Is that a dead roll?
It just starts dropping backwards and all that. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was enjoying it, but then it got to the point after I describe it as riding on a fun park thing for about 20 minutes, and we'd been going for about 30 minutes, and I was too manly to say, I think that's enough, but I sort of suggested we might fly over those mountains over there, look nice, could we just have a look over there? And he realised, and I think all the sweat coming from me, and it wasn't fear. Now I'm talking, it's not fear, but it's just your equilibrium is all messed up, and you're upside down, and it was just an amazing experience. And so,
I mean, that's a visceral reaction, isn't it? That's your reptilian brain reacting to a situation where you are objectively in danger. You're not supposed to be upside down.
Yeah, it's your senses, and he explained it in detail, like your senses in your ear, and then the other parts. You got 3 senses that are not quite coordinating, so you're enjoying it. But it was good advice. I didn't throw up,
Well done.
I'm not sure if he was allowed to, but he even let me fly the plane.
What?
So that was pretty
Wow,
cool.
cool.
So holding the stick and rudder, I'm a stick and rudder man. That's what we talk in the Air Force trade. And that was great. So I never thought I'd get that experience. So that's the fun of podcasting.
So if you had died
Yeah.
while flying with Jack Beaumont, who would you have wanted to investigate your death?
Good question. I'm not sure if New South Wales Police would investigate my death.
Case closed.
Yeah, case closed. Nothing to see here. Yeah. One that a detective that I've got a lot of respect for, Charlie Bazina from Victorian Homicide, ex-Victorian Homicide. He is someone that he was sort of, I won't say a generation before me, but just before me in experience. I didn't get to work with him when I was in New South Wales and he was in Victoria, but I was very much aware of his reputation. And what I've found talking to Charlie, and we've done some talks together, and I've had him on the podcast a couple of times, I really like the way he approaches his investigations, the methodical way that he approaches his investigations. And I would like, if I was murdered, that would be a good one. Of course, some other ones from New South Wales, and Paul Jacob would be a good one.
Get the Blues Brothers back out of retirement.
We could bring. I'm sure they'd bring the whole team back.
Yeah, sure.
Bring Jason up, get them all back to work it. But no, Charlie to me typifies what a homicide detective should be, in that he's got that empathy, which is a word that I keep using, but it's so important in homicide. Attention to detail, and he actually cares, and he will rock the boat if he needs to rock the boat. And you need all those characteristics to be a good homicide detective. So, every time I sit down with Charlie and he talks about a case, I'm learning something still at this stage.
He seems like a real gentleman, and he's got that natural authority that you can't fake.
Yes, you can't. There's a persona. And I can imagine, I would hate being the crook when Charlie walked into the interview room. I'd be going, oh, shit. That type of thing. But the professionalism that he projects is, it's definitely there.